With its 6-core, 12-thread Core i7 processor, the machine in my hands is not only more powerful than the impressively compact MSI Trident that we reviewed before, it is less than half of the size. The MSI Vortex G25 is a totally different kind of beast. Is it a desktop? Is it a gaming laptop with the screen ripped off? And also no keyboard? And hopefully no noise or heating issues? I mean, is anyone really expecting us to answer these questions before we tell you that today's video is brought to you by TunnelBear? TunnelBear makes it easy to privately and securely browse a more open internet. To try TunnelBear for free, go to tunnelbear.com/LTT. At a total internal volume of 2.5 liters and a weight of 2.5 kilograms, the Vortex G25 is a strikingly slim machine. It is so tiny that you could easily hide it on the back of your TV or monitor using the included VESA mount if you didn't want to see it. Though, honestly, if you aren't totally turned off by the gamer aesthetic, it actually looks pretty good, both horizontally in a TV console or vertically on the included stand. Though, I would recommend fine-tuning the RGB lighting a little bit for the latter to keep things classy. I/O is curious. It's got 2 HDMI 2.0 ports that'll handle 4K 60Hz, so it's VR ready, but there's no freaking DisplayPort port. I mean, okay, yes, there is a Thunderbolt 3 on the back that can be used for that purpose, but would even a mini DP or an included dongle have been too much to ask MSI? Out of the box, there was no way for Alex to hook the G25 up to the older HDMI 1.4 4K monitor on his desk while he was working on this review. That said, the rest of the I/O is pretty solid, a good mix of USB and networking, and a couple of strong indications that MSI thinks that one of these would go great in your living room. A digital audio out and a 12-volt DC out so that you can power a room-scale VR headset like the HTC Vive without an additional wall adapter. Nice. Inside, this thing is a monster. It features Intel's Core i7 8700 with 6 cores of up to 4.6 gigahertz turbo madness and a GTX 1070 GPU. So I'm expecting some phenomenal gaming performance in our benchmarks. If, that is, MSI can stop that hardware from getting hotter than the seat of my pants after an evening of dining at Taco Bell. Gross. And good news! I wouldn't quite call the G25 silent, but from an arm's length away, it's hardly noticeable with a sound quality that is easily forgotten. And our CPU leveled out in the mid-70s while maintaining a respectable 4 gigahertz on all 6 cores. And when it comes to gaming, our GTX 1070 ended up at a comfortable 1900 megahertz at 70 degrees Celsius. That is right up there with a desktop card. Though it should be noted that when the Vortex is placed horizontally, you can expect your temps to rise by about 10 degrees. Now, we didn't see any performance drop due to that in our 24-degree office, but this could be a problem if you don't have air conditioning. Now, it should come as no surprise that when you combine impressive hardware with impressive cooling, you get impressive gaming performance. And the G25 hung right in there with our standard desktop hardware test bench. And while it did actually lose out to the ASRock Desk Mini, another impressively small gaming system, it should be noted that that one costs a lot more due to its more expensive GTX 1080 graphics card, and it wasn't even able to take full advantage of that card due to its thermal throttling. So let's rip this thing open and have a look at the secret sauce that MSI calls Cooler Boost Titan. It's a dumb name, sure, but I can't argue with the results. I mean, look at this. 8 heat pipes, like, MSI's system team clearly took some inspiration from the Trident 3's notebook-like cooling system and improved on it before cramming it in here. It's just that instead of a regular full-size PCIe 16X GPU, we get a notebook GPU on an MXM module. So that is what allows the Vortex to be so slim. But it also brings along the disadvantage of making future upgrades more difficult or even impossible if NVIDIA decides to stop supporting this form factor. While we were poking around inside, we noticed that our 16 gig RAM model had an empty slot, making an upgrade to 32 gigs easy. Nice. Then, with the back screws out, the top also comes off with a bit of love from a prying tool to give us access to the other side of the motherboard, where you can upgrade the 2.5-inch drive, add another M.2, or even, no way! There's 2 more empty SODIMM slots for up to 64 gigs of RAM. I mean, badass book-sized workstation, anyone? Badass, yes. Cheap? No. As we learned from the ASRock Desk Mini video, MXM cards cost significantly more than their standard counterparts, and this hurts the Vortex G25's value proposition. The good news is that compared to similar small form factor solutions, it's not that far off, but the bad news is that for the 1070 model with an i7, you're looking at a cool $2,000. Bringing us back to the original question, is this a tiny, high-performance desktop, or is it a bulky laptop without a screen and a keyboard? Well, with this kind of performance, I'm inclined to go with the former, and it gets a solid recommendation if you're willing to spend the extra to save a little space on your desk. Speaking of spending a little extra, Skillshare is an online learning community with more than 17,000 classes in design, photo editing, and more if you're looking for a way to pick up some new skills so you can afford a fancy Vortex G25. Premium membership gives you unlimited access to high-quality classes from experts working in their fields, and Skillshare is also more affordable than most learning platforms out there, with an annual subscription coming in at less than $10 a month. Now, since Skillshare is sponsoring this video, the first 200 people to use the promo link in the description will get their first 2 months for free to try it out, totally risk-free. So go check it out. So thanks for watching, guys. If this video sucked, you know what to do. But if it was awesome, get subscribed, hit that like button, or check out the link to where to buy the stuff we featured in the video description. Also linked in the description is our merch store, which has cool shirts like this one, and our community forum, which you should totally join.